Hey everyone, welcome to week 62. This is day one. This is Monday. This is the beginning of a new week. The theme for this week is going to be called Who Are You? And throughout this week, I'm going to let you guys know about 5 things that I love to do that are not painting. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, let's get started. This is going to be day one. This is our first day of our Who Are You week. That's what we're going to call it. And the idea of this week is to try and reflect upon the people that we are aside from painting. I mean, we can obviously speak about some of the things that have to do with art, because you're going to see that in my case, a lot of these things are connected. But the idea is to speak about those things that make us who we are, that don't necessarily have to do with understanding ourselves solely as painters. So, who are you is just a way of saying, you know what, I also like these other things, and they make me happy. When I think of my life as this integral experience, maybe I dedicate less time than I do to painting, obviously, to these things, but they are super, super important in my life. So that's what we're going to do for this week. And for this first one, I'm going to start with a very obvious one for myself, which is video games. I love video games. I'm older now, so my Twitch reflexes are not good. But to be honest, they were never good. Even though video games have been part of my life ever since I was little, I think I'm a mediocre player. I don't have an ego about this. I don't have any trouble saying that I'm not really a good player. My brother was amazing. He was absolutely amazing. He still plays video games, but when we were younger, my brother is 7 years older than I am. So when you're young, when you're like 8, 9 years old, and there's somebody who's like 7 years older than you, and you watch them play video games, that's incredible. I remember just thinking that my brother was like from another planet. He could do things that I just couldn't conceive of doing. I couldn't fathom pulling off like a lot of the stuff he would do in video games. I think video games for me were amazing because I had the opportunity to watch my brother play them and play them not how I played them, but how you're supposed to play them. And he was really good at them. So my family, we were very lucky that we've had video games as a part of our family, I think, for our whole life. So when I was younger, we had the Atari 2600. And I'm guessing my parents must have bought it when they were in the US and brought it back to Colombia when I was just a little kid. Even in my oldest memories of video games, the Atari 2600 was there. So I'm guessing in like 78, they probably traveled back and they brought it with them. We had all the classics like Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Centipede, Combat. Combat was amazing. That was a super popular one in my family. But I remember, I have this distinct memory, and I think with Centipede, I remember it, that I used to love the artwork that would come with the video game. So I would just love the box art of the video game. And Centipede in particular came with a comic book, with this tiny little comic book. And I used to love that art because Atari 2600 graphics, they were just pixels. When we were kids, we were able to do this incredibly magical thing, which was think that those pixels that I saw on the screen were actually the things that I would see in the box art or in the comic book. Like, I could convince myself that they were those things. I think that void that existed between the art of the video game and the actual pixels was filled by our imagination. And it just made you feel a lot more connected in some way. I'm not saying it's better or worse than today, but I'm saying that that's something that was amazing when I was a kid. You actively participated with your own imagination playing this video game, so it was probably more akin to like a book, to an illustrated book where you're looking at the illustration and you're just imagining all these worlds based on that illustration. We ended up getting, when I was about maybe 10 years old, the NES, but there's something amazing about the NES in my family, which was that my mom was the one that would buy us our video games. And we didn't buy a ton of video games. When it became ubiquitous, we could go to like a small kind of dingy store and rent NES cartridges. And that was super cool. But I'm guessing that at the time, and because these video games were imported, they were very expensive. And my mother, God bless her, I remember we told her, because this would be my brother and me all the time, we want Zelda. We want to play Zelda. And for Christmas, she bought us Zelda. but she didn't buy a Zelda 1. She bought a Zelda 2, which, you may know, Zelda 2 is one of the hardest video games ever. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So there we were thinking that, hell yes, we're going to play the original Zelda. No, Zelda 2. But you know what was amazing was that my brother stuck to it, and he actually finished the game. He was incredible. He would take notes. He would spend like hours and hours and hours every single night just playing that video game. He was absolutely amazing because this is like pre-internet times. This is pre-anything. You know, we didn't have like Nintendo Power. We didn't have anything. It wasn't like my brother was going to school and it's like, oh, dude, how did you do this Zelda too? No, there was no community either. There was nothing. So this was my brother just trying things out and figuring things out. All these years later, I have no idea how he was able to finish that video game. That's got to be one of the most impressive things he's ever done in his life. I mean, he's got 2 kids, but that's really nothing compared to finishing Zelda 2 with like no help whatsoever. And that actually set a precedent for my mom. You know, where we wanted a video game and she was like, yeah, I'm going to buy whatever they tell me to buy at the store. So, for example, we wanted Contra. I mean, every kid that had an NES played Contra. They all knew the code. They were all like, Contra is like the coolest thing ever. We didn't get Contra. We got POW, Prisoners of War, which didn't suck, you know, but nobody played that game. Nobody. So every kid in school talking about Contra, me, I was like, yeah, I got POW. But that was my mom. I mean, this has to be the top. This has to be classic. For my birthday one time, she was like, I got you a game. And I was like, hell yes. And I opened up the present, Friday the 13th. Now, maybe some of you guys don't know the history about this video game, but this is one of the toughest, most cryptic video games ever. Ever. I remember being, 10, 11 maybe? And thinking, what the hell is this video game about? And of course, you see the cover and you're like, Friday the 13th. There's Jason with an axe. And you're like, this has to be the coolest thing ever. And then you play the video game and you play as kids on a camp and you get killed by wolves. And if you go into a home and Jason is in there, you die. Because that's about it. It's about just running away and you eventually dying. Because I died all the time. So it was heartbreaking because my mother would be like, oh, how's the game? I wanted to tell her. I was like, Mom, it's impossible. It's the most arcane video game ever created. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't be honest. You know, I'd be like, oh, it's awesome, Mom. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I don't think my brother even played it. I think my brother was like, yeah, this sucks. Like, I'll put some effort in it if it's Zelda 2. But, you know, this sort of crap, no, this sucks. Yeah, that was my mom. She was so disconnected with everything. God bless her. I mean, she didn't know anything about video games. She didn't know about shoes, I remember. I remember that time when Reeboks were in fashion. So people had those black sneakers, you know, back in the 80s. They were super, super cool. And like idiot kids in my school, they would look at the tag and try to check and see if they were like legit. They would make fun of everyone if it wasn't, because in Colombia, like you couldn't get all that stuff. And if you got it, it was super, super expensive. So I would never go shopping with my mother. My mother would just, you know, tell us, yeah, I got you some shoes. I got you some sneakers. And I remember the day she was like, yeah, I got you some sneakers, you know, those Reeboks. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, hell yes. When she gives me the sneakers, they're not the black cool Reeboks that everyone was like styling. No, I got like white Reeboks with green. I think like the rim of the sole was green. I mean, nowadays they would look super cool. But back in the 80s when everyone was wearing like black Reeboks or Converse, I had these white things with green and they had like sparkles. I remember they had like glitter. And then I look at the shoe and of course they were bootlegs because that's what you could get in Colombia. They were not Reeboks, they were Redbrooks. So I remember my mom telling me, oh, just wear your shoes to school today. And I was like, I don't want to wear those shoes, Mom, come on. But I eventually wore them. And of course I got bullied. I remember everyone just checking the tag to see if they were Reeboks, but they didn't even have to check the tag. As soon as I hopped into the bus, everyone knew. I mean, these things sparkled. They were like a neon sign saying, I'm a bootleg sneaker. So that was my mom, God bless her. But Honestly, my parents worked super, super hard to try and give us, me and my brother and my sisters, everything we wanted. And even though they would get us stuff that wasn't really cool, it didn't matter. My mom was always amazing and her heart was always in the right place. So back then, I probably suffered a little bit for it. But nowadays, I look back and I smile. But in terms of video games, my parents were like super, super generous with us. And we eventually had a bunch of consoles throughout the years. And for us, it was like a family thing. We would just get together and play video games. We would also have like friends over and we would play like tournaments, socializing with friends and having a great time and laughing. Some of those moments are honestly tied to just playing video games. And what I'm painting today, I actually have my good friend Kenichi Hoshine, who by the way is an amazing painter. You guys probably already know that. But if you don't, you got to check him out. He's absolutely incredible. Show him some love. Buy some paintings of his. But Kenichi, in his Instagram feed, he posted this little handheld. And I was like, oh, dude, Kenichi, what the hell is that? And he was like, oh, this is a Retroid. It's just like an emulator. And you can play NES games, SNES games, PSP games, even Dreamcast games. So it's a really nice, tiny emulator. It's packed with a ton of ROMs. And I was like, oh, dude, I got to get that. So I'm painting that little handheld, which is amazing. Nowadays that I've been gaming for so long, it's so cool to see older games. And it's so cool to see how new games are echoing a ton of older games. And gaming has become so ubiquitous. I mean, my mother is a gamer. My mother probably games more hours every day than I do. She's always at her phone. She's playing like her Connect 3, like Bejeweled type games. And she absolutely loves them. I don't know what my mother would be nowadays without her cell phone and without her games. It used to be this thing that not many people would do. And today it's something that people understand that can bring so much happiness. So I find it awesome. My kids game, my daughter plays Roblox, which is terrible, but she loves it. And, who am I to judge? She logs in with her school friends and they have a blast playing, which is awesome. And my son is like a gamer. My son is actually really, really good. The bad thing is he plays stuff that I don't like to play. He plays Fortnite, which I suck at. He plays COD, but he also plays like Pokemon and Minecraft. And if I have to be honest, and if there's parents out there listening, like video games have been incredible because we are still very much so almost like in quarantine here. Like my son only goes to school 1 day a week. He goes to school Fridays to do like phys ed and art. But the rest of the time, he's stuck inside. And he's been able to socialize through video games. Like he's been able to keep up with his friends and to talk. Sometimes he's like a maniac. I can be painting, Danny could be editing. We could be wearing headphones and you could hear Samu over the headphones. I mean, you could have noise canceling headphones. That won't do anything. Like you're going to hear Samu playing COD. So I think life gave me the chance to have this amazing family experience when I was younger and to reminisce about how happy we all were while playing video games, us as a family. And today, I'm a dad and I can do the same thing for my kids and they love it. It's obviously not the only thing they do. I mean, in my son's case, that's a little bit harder. You have to pry the controller away from his hands. But I think watching them be happy and socialize and just enjoy these incredible interactive worlds, it's just super, super cool. And I think the coolest thing about all of this is that Danny loves video games too. And what we've done, and it's something that I didn't do when I played the games that I like, because I usually like adventure games and like single player games. I suck at, multiplayer games. This is like a small little detour before I talk about what Danny and I play. I really don't like multiplayer games. And for example, I used to play Destiny by myself and I enjoyed it. I actually finished the game and I would do some missions with randoms and I was like leveling up and I was actually pretty okay. But at some point, there was a really tough thing, in Destiny's 2 end game that was called a raid. And you would have to do it with a ton of people. And these things were tough. I mean, they were objectively tough. I couldn't do it by myself. And the best way to do it would be to do it with a ton of people that you could connect with and you could talk because you actually had to communicate while doing these things. So my nephew goes like, well, if you want, you can play with a bunch of my friends and we could do the raid together. And I was like, okay, I could do this. It's a bunch of kids. I could play with some kids. No, I couldn't do it. It was the most humiliating thing in the world. They would give me a job to do, and I would just fail constantly at it. I would get killed constantly. And they became like super frustrated. It was like, who's that guy? Like, who's that dude? So here I am, like my hands are sweating. Everyone's hating me. And I'm like, these fucking 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. And all I could think about, I was like, I bet you if they were in front of me, I could beat the crap out of them. Truth is, they were probably taller than me, and they could probably beat me single-handedly. But I was like, oh, F this. I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going to go through this humiliation again. So what has happened is that Danny and I now play together. And we've found like co-op games that we can play together, and they're amazing. For example, Cuphead, which is one of the coolest games ever. We finished it. We 100%ed it. I mean, I'm saying we, but Danny carried my ass. Danny is so good. Her reflexes are amazing. She's super twitchy. She's really good at platformers. So we played that. We finished it. We're super proud. Before that, we finished Super Mario World, and we 100%ed that one, and that was really cool too. It's honestly like a perfect game. And just recently, what did we play? Oh, of course, because it's Danny. We played the SpongeBob game, the Bikini Bottom remake, and we actually got everything. We platinumed it. It's the first platinum trophy that I've ever had in I don't know how many years of gaming. So that tells you a lot about who I am as a gamer. And I was like, okay, this is perfect. First platinum ever. It has to be like a SpongeBob game. And that was perfect. We're super competitive. And if I have to be honest, she's probably a lot better than I am. That's my short history of video games and bootlegs. It's just a nice way to say this is something that has brought me happiness throughout the years. So yeah, I think that for my first day in trying to share with you guys what I like aside from painting, this has to be it. This is something that has been part of my life. And hopefully, if my mother is proof of anything, is that you can be older and still game and still find these things absolutely fascinating. So hopefully this will be part of my life, in the future. And I'll have the chance to enjoy it with Danny for as long as I can. So that's going to be it for today. Join us tomorrow. Remember Tuesday, Spanish Tuesday, Martes Español. Brush up on your Spanish. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.